What's up, gang? I got a couple of things to share today. Yesterday I was at just out and about, as we all are every day, and there was a outreach ministries set up in front of Walmart, and they had apparel that they were selling. And when you buy the apparel, they take a certain amount of it that covers the cost of the apparel, and then the rest of it goes to the outreach ministries for soldiers that are back here in the States out of the service and having some issues. But the main focus of their ministry part is their relationship with the Lord for these guys. But anyway, I was talking to one of the guys, and he had never heard what came out of my mouth when it came to his relationship with the Lord and seeing so much just in the first two words of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father. Those two words right there established a parent to child relationship, a one that is wiser and stronger to the one that is not as wise and not as strong, which will be the child. And then from that, you have the belief, and back to belief with the trust, just like the child does towards the parent. And the child also lives in a place of yieldedness to the parent's wisdom and strength and leadership for the day. And he thought that was just the coolest thing. And it's actually pretty biblical. So what it does also is it crushes self-reliant living, self-empowered living, in every aspect. Now, in Psalm 34, we got David, and let's just go through a couple things here that he figured out and experienced, that if he trusted the Lord and yielded to him as best he could on a daily basis, that the Lord had him covered. And this was written from what the Bible tells us. It's Psalm of David when he pretended madness before Abimelech, who drove him away, and he departed. So he was in a sticky situation, and we'd have to go back and read it and see it for what it is. But watch what David writes. Psalm 34. He said, I will bless the Lord at all times. Let's go there real quick. The Lord told Abraham, I'd bless those who bless him, and that he would curse those who curse him, and that he would be a blessing. But you have to just see again that David had to experience something that he was thankful for, so he could bless the Lord at all times. So he had a situation that was probably pretty bad, which we read here, but he was delivered from it. His second, I guess you'd say, his thought process of how to bless the Lord at all times, he said, his praise shall continually be in my mouth. Praise is very powerful. It helps us win on the battlefield of our mind, of where we've been, what we've been through, how we've seen the Lord's hand. And remember, the Lord works through people to get it done. And he's the orchestrating king of putting the right people in the right place at the right time. And also, there's nothing too hard for him. We see many acts throughout the Bible of his hand that he didn't use a person to get it done. He used his own power to say just something big. Let's just go to the Red Sea. The Red Sea, the Lord just did what he did to part it, dry the ground, and let the children of Israel just ease on across there. So, and then you say, also just go over the book of Acts. You see Paul in prison, and when Paul's in prison, they're singing praises. He's not in fear, he's not in doubt, he's not worried about how things are going to turn out. He's singing praises, and the Lord shakes the freaking prison. Okay? So, no matter what you face, there is nothing to fear. So he goes down and he says, my soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad. Oh, magnify the Lord with me. that is like, hey man, get to know this dude. I'm telling you, he's good, he's good, he's good. You just do what I do, and he'll help you out too. Try that. And let us exalt his name together. And here he is. I sought the Lord, and he heard me and delivered me from all my fears. How many? All. If you look at a loving parent, they would do the same for a child if they were fearful, doubtful of something and they had an issue. The parent would be surely to bestow the wisdom upon the child that was needed to handle the situation. And if the parent needs to walk through that situation with that kid, holding their hand, they would. The Lord's the same. They looked to him and were radiant, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried out, and the Lord heard him. Like a parent hears a child when they speak. And saved him out of all his troubles. All fears, all troubles. I told yesterday that Paul had wrote, thanks be to God who always leads us into triumph in Christ Jesus. I'm telling you, any fear, doubt, anxiousness, anything you got going on that creates any kind of doubt in the mind of who he is, if you trust him with your life in his hands, he's going to lead you to situations that's going to crush it. Okay? Just like any loving parent would do for a kid. The angel of the Lord encamps all around those who fear him. There's protection. I've said it before. We may not be able to see it, the angel, spiritual, here, but they're here. Oh, they're here. And as a child, as a parent protects a child, number one, we talk about it here at His Will Not My Ministry, is the fact that one of the number one reasons he wants us to trust him is for our protection. Because he knows this world, as the book tells us, is under the sway of the wicked one. And as I told that dude yesterday, I said, the adversary, Satan, and his cronies, doesn't want anything for any of us except pain and suffering and being deceived. Self-empowered living leaves you deceived. Self-reliant living leaves you deceived. Abraham was once a self-reliant man. Moses was once a self-reliant man. They both turned their will and their life over to the care of God. They didn't really know and understand. Abraham at 75, Moses at 80. And we see how their life turned out. And in Abraham's old age, the Bible tells us that the Lord had blessed him in all things. All right? Simple concept, I'm telling you. Simple, simple, simple. But the battle, like I told that guy yesterday, one of the battles that we get to win is on the battlefield of our mind. And we teach that here at His Will Not My Ministry with the tools, as I call them, tools, principles, tools tied together that come from the advice that he gives us in his word for us to apply so we can win on the battlefield of our mind. And that leads to us trusting him 100% because we have to do our part to win on the battlefield of our mind. And we do that with the weapons that he's given us within his word. One of the biggest ones is praise. And we've talked about that in many other videos that you can go back and find on our Facebook page and YouTube. Then he says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him." There it is. Plain as day. Taste and see is basically an experience. Yeah? A child experiences the wisdom and strength and leadership of their parent within many different situations, and they taste and see that mom or dad is good. It's kind of like a parent knows a little more about their kids than the child actually knows about themselves. When they're maybe 2, 3, 4 years old, the child doesn't realize that he's demonstrated some things, or her has demonstrated some things of things that they like by what the parent has done towards the child to find out if the child does like something or not. And it's like the parent knows that they like certain things, so they make sure that the child gets them And remember, I'm staying in this 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old range because really, I'll say 2, 3-year-old range. The child can't really tell the parent that they like stuff, but like I said, the experience comes by what the parent puts in front of the child to see. And the Lord He knows us better than we know ourselves. So it's like He says to us, try this, I know you'll like it. When He leads us into different situations and circumstances with people, our job, whatever it is, He knows what we like. And He caters to that so that a relationship is being built. And also we find out that He is really interested in our communion with Him, but also He's really interested in leaning in this thing we call grace. And He's, if you go study that word, you'll find that it talks about being inclined to bless. So as a parent does a child, it's pretty much the same thing. So if you go on down, it says, blessed is the man who trusts in Him. There's the trust thing. Oh, fear the Lord, you His saints. There is no want to those who fear Him. We got all the fears. We got all the troubles. Yeah. We got tasting and seeing that He's good. Then we got no want. It's a list. It's growing. The young lions lack and suffer, but those who seek the Lord shall not lack any good thing. That's 5. Come, you children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord, who is the man who desires life and loves many days, that he may see good. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Why? Because the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and His ears are open to their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. There's 6. He's an action-taking Father, I'm telling you. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, in that inner man, that inner will that's just shattered and they don't know what to do next. Just like a little child is just having problems with whatever it is that's going on, and they are very disturbed about whatever it is they're going through. Well, the parent's close to the kid during those times. Same thing. And He says here, and He saves such as have a contrite spirit. If you go study the word saves, you'll find sozo. If you go find sozo, then you're going to dig in and you're going to see what He's talking about that He's capable of doing and will do. And then contrite spirit is humble. Moses was humble. Abraham was humble. When it comes to your self-empowered living, like I told that guy yesterday, the most subtle form of pride, even with good intentions, is self-empowered living. And pride and ego, and I'm going to do it my way, how I want to do it, when I want to do it, because I believe that I have to fend for myself this much and make a plan for my life. The Lord says, no, you don't. Who taught you that would be the question. Where did that belief come from? Because it's totally contrary to what He says. Totally. I believed it for a long time. And I found over the years, as I just trust Him and yield to Him 100%, He takes care of stuff just like He did for David. He does it for me, and He'll do it for anybody. It's just as simple as that. You know, I've written 4 books to help win on the battlefield of the mind, things that He's taught me to do, and then and many other aspects, fully relatable topics to daily life that are within these books that anybody can read and then implement the principle and then benefit from it as their relationship grows with Him. So I encourage you to visit our website there too. You may get your hands on one. And then if we flip over to verse 19, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He's an action-taking parent. I'm telling you, no matter what you face. We talk about it here at the ministry, is being able to live in divine carelessness as any 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old child does that's dearly cared for by their loving parents. MasterCard can't pay for that. There's nothing in this world and men's systems and traditions and everything of how to go about living everyday life that's offered that can compete with it, or say it is in competition with it. Let's go there. But which route do you want to go? Do you want to believe that you have to do it all yourself, or would you rather go another route where you can say, well, I got confidence in somebody who's wiser and stronger than me, and he's going to handle it? That's freedom. And Jesus said that he came so we may have life and have it more abundantly. And the book tells me he came for freedom. So he comes to set us free from what? All of that, all those lives according to self-empowered living, possibly? Yeah, I think that's part of the deal. But the Lord delivers him out of them all. There you go. He guards all his bones. Evil shall slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous shall be condemned. The Lord redeems the soul of his servants, and none of those who trust in him shall be condemned. Just in Psalm 34, we find all of that. I encourage you. He's a good Father. He's got a plan for your life. He's got a calling on your life. And he's looking for you to come to him so he can will you to be, he can will you to do, and he can will you to have everything that he's purposed in his mind and his heart that's built into your calling for your life while you're here. And we'll be back.